Steel structural modeling in STAAD.Pro. Unlike concrete structures, steel structures have a different types of elements like truss elements, beam elements, and tension only elements, compression only elements, like that, right? So when we are modeling and combining those elements as a one structure, we need to take some steps to create a model in right way, because these members actually will transfer the force member to member and make sure that transfer will process correctly such that we will able to perform the right analysis. So for example, beam element normally has the translation XYZ direction and rotation in X, Y and Z direction, whereas a truss element have a translation in X, Y, Z direction, which is only. So if you talk about the degrees of freedom, beam has the 6 degrees of freedom, truss has the 3 degrees of freedom. So that means beam have the in terms of force point of view, Fx, Fy, Fz, and Mx, My, Mz is the moments, whereas a truss element doesn't have the Mx, My, Mz, but it can able to carry the Fx, Fy, Fz. So what will happen, the member which we have selected right now, member number 2, in case of member number 2 is actually a beam element, it has the 6 degrees of freedom and has the 6 types of forces, Fx, Fy, Fz, Mx, My, Mz. If you make the other elements like columns, vertical columns as a truss element, the truss have only X, Y, Z. So when you apply the loads in the beam, 6 types of forces, only 3 will be transferred to the foundation level, and the moment Mx, My, Mz will not be transferred, such that the error will be thrown into the STAAD.Pro. Based on that, we can able to fix it. Okay. So make sure that these kind of mistakes should not be done in STAAD. So in order to do that, we'll go to the geometry general page for specs. So what I'm going to do, I'll create any one member as a truss member. So this truss member will be assigned to both the columns, and this is the beam element, this is the truss element, right? So now, suppose already it has been given, and now what I'm going to do, I will go to the analysis, running simply. You can see there is a one warning message came. If you go and look into warning message in ANL file, so you can see here the warning, instability at joint 3 direction Fx. So probable cause of singular adding weak spin. So that means the beam element forces cannot able to transfer to the column elements. So in that situation, what we need to do, we'll make sure that the beam element should not be directly connected to the truss. So in better way, actually this is a wrong way to do the modeling. You cannot make a column element as a truss element when the top elements as the beam element. There is the other way. We can also release the forces at both the joints. We will discuss into the next example. In current, we will make all is a beam element. We will go for run analysis. Now you can see there is no warning and there is no note. There is no errors. So that means the model has been performed correctly. So just would like to emphasize here, the elements connectivity is more important in steel structures in order to perform the analysis. So we will discuss in the next example other types of modeling issues and how to resolve those.